I'm just here to back up Christabel because I was born to two Nigerian parents, but I can vividly remember going through the airport in Lagos, Nigeria, and having a big security guard with an AK. I said my name to him, and he said, "Your Yankee tongue is ruining our language." So, as a message to the right-wingers who might be seeing this, just know that when you tell me to go back home, I would be considered a foreigner in Nigeria too. I was born in Darlington, in the northeast of England, near Newcastle. So I am a Geordie by birth. I then moved to Middlesbrough, then to Swansea, which is in Wales, then to Dundee, where I was when about 3. So I learned to speak, learned to walk, learned to crawl, hence the Scottish accent that you can sort of hear, some of you can, in my accent, which I generally just refer to as a fucked up accent rather than anywhere geographically specific. Now in Dundee in the 90s, not that many black people. I knew one who was a family friend, but she lived on the other side of the city. So then I moved down to Birmingham for a year or two at age 6. There were 4 other black people in that school. 3 happened to be in my year. 1 in the 6th form. I remember him because he pushed me around. I can remember him physically standing on my stomach. The mixed race guy used to pick fights with me. He would lose. One of the 2 black girls was my first crush in England, and I'm still friends with her. But then my parents started sending me to private schools in Darlington in the northeast, so no black people in my entire year group. But then we came back down to the West Midlands to another private school in Bromsgrove, a town that has voted Tory in pretty much every single election since the 1930s. A town so white that I remember having to do a magic trick that blew the minds of my fellow classmates by turning my hand over to reveal it was a different colour. Then went to Nottingham University for law school and had 1 mixed race housemate and cross paths with maybe 1 or 2 black people in law school. And then when I graduated, the first thing I did was work in a hotel in France. It was a ski resort, so yeah. And then after that, I was doing human rights internships in Brussels and Vienna, working in and around the institutions of the European Union, so politics. Now, am I happy that I haven't acquired that many black friends along the way? No, it's genuinely very painful. A couple of my cousins live in the UK, but they lived in London. So I'd see them occasionally during my childhood, but we never really grew up together. And I remember going to his wedding a few years back and seeing all the black people who grew up in London doing all the same dances that I'd never even seen before. Like, I went to uni, I went to clubs all the time, but I would only dance if there was R&B or hip-hop, and I'd basically be waiting on the wall while my drunk friends, primarily white, would be dancing to dance music, which I simply cannot stand. I mean, how are you supposed to dance to There's no syncopation. There's no syncopation. Anyway, it's one of the reasons why, despite the people who own it, I love this app, because it's given me access to hundreds of black nerds. Specifically comic book nerds, because when has the mainstream media ever made black people the face of comic book nerddom? Whether it's the news, Hollywood, music videos, they've chosen very specific stereotypes for people with our skin tone. We can be gangsters, criminals, rappers, singers, and maybe even the occasional geek like Carlton, but never comic book nerds properly. And seeing this video yesterday reminded me of what I love about this app. Let me show you how a real nigga get down. Go ahead, get going. That is a guy who is obsessed with the show Supernatural, a show that I'm watching now. But in the absence of any real world or media exposure to black sci-fi nerds, there's a part of your brain that is telling you that being a sci-fi nerd undermines your blackness. Because for millennials, when you think comic book nerd, you're not thinking of somebody who looks like me, you're thinking of somebody who looks like Sheldon Cooper. So seeing black nerds on TikTok has been so validating. All this to say that we don't choose the environments that we grow up in. Being a black guy born in the UK for me means having one foot in a bunch of different cultures. So try and see where Christabel is coming from.